Kamu belum masuk, Bu? Sudah. Tadi sudah. Ada. Oh iya, oke. Oke. Kalau Ibu, Bapak Ibu, dan
Boten saged, Bu.
Husnul sudah. Halo, Bapak Ibu, sepertinya our guest speaker udah datang. Pak Rahul sudah di sini. Halo.
Ini bikaton raine.
Bapak Ibu sebaiknya tidak menggunakan ini ya, kameranya dipergunakan, jadi kita tahu Bapak Ibu ini wajahnya yang ganteng dan cantiknya seperti apa. Halo, so I think I have to call our Dr. Rahul.
Untuk materi yang berbahasa Indonesia sudah ada di Mas Rio. Ini saya nggak bisa join.
Yes, Professor Yoga, I'm here only.
Okay.
Udah benar, ini Mas Priya.
Ya, fokus. Matikan semua mikrofon, please. Pak Priyo, operator, please mute all. We would like to start. Kita mau mulai Bapak Ibu. Saya harap Bapak Ibu mikrofonnya matiin gitu, supaya hanya saya dulu yang bicara. Nanti gantian. Okay, so you have time. Nanti Bapak Ibu ada waktu for question and answer. Untuk pertanyaan, social break. Nanti kami kasih kesempatan seluas-luasnya untuk Bapak Ibu bertanya kepada narasumber. Okay, so everybody is mute now. Semuanya sudah mute, Dana?
Sudah.
Okay, great.
Bu Hamidah belum, Bu?
Okay, so sorry. Sudah ya Bapak Ibu, halo Bapak Ibu, kita mulai nggih?
Yes.
Okay, sudah ada Dr. Rahul here. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our special occasions. We thank God for giving us the chance today, Wednesday, August 26, 2020, in which we can gather in this very good opportunity in our virtual international field trip and forum group discussions. Ladies and gentlemen, let's commence by saying basmalah. Bapak Ibu silakan mulai dengan Bismillahirrahmanirrahim ya. Saya translate Indonesianya very bad ya. Okay. Ya, thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay. Bapak Ibu di mute ya. Okay. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, let us commence. I would like to start our virtual international field trip and forum group discussions by listening national anthems. Bapak Ibu, kita akan mendengarkan lagu kebangsaan. Ladies and gentlemen, please listen to national anthem of the Republic of Indonesia. Please raise. Bapak Ibu silahkan berdiri ya.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, let's listen the national anthem of India. Please raise. Bapak Ibu silakan masih berdiri ya untuk mendengarkan national anthem of India. Thank you. Pak Priyo.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Silakan duduk Bapak Ibu. Terima kasih. Okay. Pak Priyo, could you help me please? Okay, thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, Bapak Ibu, I would like to start our virtual international field trip and group discussions today by inviting our Vice Rector of Academic Affairs, Dr. Suyono, on behalf of our Rector of Universitas Pancasakti Tegal, because he is now attending the tennis competition. So Dr. Suyono will deliver his welcoming speech. Dr. Suyono, the Honorable Dr. Suyono, please. Pak Suyono, monggo.
Thank you, Dr. Yoga. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The Honorable Speaker of Virtual International Field Trip and Forum Group Discussion, Professor Malvika Seth from School of Law, Jindal Global University, India, Mr. Rahul Bandari, as Director of International Relations at Jindal Global University, India, the Director of Postgraduate Program, Dr. Hamidah Abdurrahman, SH, MH, the Head of Master-in-Law, Dr. Suci Hartati, SH, MH, and all the students of Master-in-Law of Postgraduate Program, Universitas Pancasakti Tegal. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It's my great pleasure to welcome you to Virtual International Field Trip and Forum Group Discussion, the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on human rights and the rule of law, held by Universitas Pancasakti Tegal. Jindal Global University is one of the biggest universities in India that has a good relationship with our university. This year, we sent out to students of undergraduate program of Faculty of Law to join transfer credit online class for 1 semester. This international relationship, furthermore, is very important to our university. Today, we are having the Virtual International Field Trip and Forum Group Discussion for students and lecturers of Master of Law of Postgraduate Program, hopefully can strengthen our international relationship, and we hope the implementation of our cooperation give mutual benefit for the two institutions, not only this year, but also every year. And thank you very much for all. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much for your warm welcome. Terima kasih banyak untuk sambutan yang hangat Pak Dr. Suyono. We appreciate it very much. Ladies and gentlemen, let me invite the Honorable Postgraduate Director Ibu Dr. Hamidah Abdurrahman, SHMH, for delivering her remark. The Honorable Dr. Abdurrahman, Ibu Dr. Abdurrahman, please.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you, Bu Yoga. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The Honorable, the Speaker of Virtual International Field Trip and Forum Education, Professor Malvika Seth from School of Law, Jindal Global University, India, and Mr. Rahul Bandari as Director of International Relations at Jindal Global University in India, Deputy Rector of Universitas Pancasakti Tegal, the Head of Master-in-Law, Dr. Suci Hartati, and all the students of Master of Law of Postgraduate Program Universitas Pancasakti Tegal. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It's my great pleasure to welcome you to Virtual International Field Trip and Forum Group Discussion, the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on human rights and the rule of law held by Universitas Pancasakti Tegal. Rumors, fake news, and conspiracy theories about the COVID-19 are spreading online. The spread of coronavirus and disinformation. As educators, we are pioneering innovative tools in education, such as educational platform, digital communities, and so on. In this context, educator can also help students engage to online environment in safe, sensitive, critical, ethical, and responsible way. Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the virtual events that we University India, Prof. Malvika, and Mr. Rahul Bandari. I hope we can discuss the initiative from two different countries to mitigate the effect of pandemic of human rights and the rule of law. About the Jindal Global University, I have been fortunate enough to visit Jindal University in 1916. The campus is very big and beautiful. Yeah, very, very beautiful campus, I think. Finally, I hope this webinar can be useful for us share information about country effort to maintain the provision of law in different contexts. Thank you very much. Stay safe and stay healthy. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Ibu Dr. Hamidah Abdurrahman. So you've been to Jindal University in 1919. Ibu pernah ke Jindal University ya? And it is a very lovely campus. Okay. So you must be very proud visiting Jindal Global University. Kapan-kapan saya juga pengen Bu. Okay. Thank you very much, Ibu Dr. Hamidah, for your inspiring speech. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start, I would like to introduce Ibu Suci Hartati, Noah, as the head of Master of Law. Ibu Suci Hartati, would you please just a minute giving an introduction? Dalam bahasa Indonesia nggak apa-apa Bu kenalan. Tidak. Oh, kalau begitu ininya saja disorot. Sudah disorot. Okay, thank you. Okay, here, ladies and gentlemen, Bapak Ibu, she is the head of Master of Law, Ibu Suci Hartati. Say hello, Ibu. Say hello, begini. Say hello. Okay, thank you, Ibu. Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's start our virtual international field trip and forum group discussion today. So it is now time for the agenda. Well, all the speakers, the two speakers will deliver for about 10 to 15 minutes. And then it is a pleasure. Ibu Nana, I would like, before Dr. Rahul, before you start the presentation, I would like to introduce all the speakers to the participants. Ladies and gentlemen, Bapak Ibu, ini adalah profil dari Dr. Rahul Bandari. Oke, yang pertama, the first, he work dulu ya Bapak Ibu, Manager of International Relationship in University of Southampton, United Kingdom. Kemudian selanjutnya, he worked as the Manager of Student Support Al-Khawarizmi International University, Abu Dhabi, UAE. And then he also worked as the Head of Corporate Relations as DGI, Group of Institutions in India. And now, sekarang ini Bapak Ibu, posisi beliau adalah Deputy Director of International Relations, OP Jindal Global University India. Jadi beliau sekarang menjabat sebagai Deputy Director of International Relations, Jindal Global University, Bapak Ibu ya. Okay, our next speaker, please. Our next speaker is Professor Malfi Kasset. Beliau Profesor Malfi Kasset. Professor Malfi Kasset is Assistant Professor and Assistant Dean International Collaborations at Jindal Global Law University, India. Holds an LLM in International Legal Studies from New York University and BALLB from Gujarat National Law University. Malvika's research area is international human rights with a focus on intersections between business and human rights and criminal law. Post the completion of LLM, Malvika was awarded the New York University International Finance and Development Fellowships with International Development Law Organizations, Rome. Prior to pursuing her master's in law, Malvika has worked in the Supreme Court of India as law clerk and research assistant and in People's Union for Civil Liberties as a pro bono advocate and researcher. Jadi Bapak Ibu, Profesor Malfi Kasset ini lulus dari New York University ya. Kemudian beliau jabatan sekarang adalah Assistant Professor sekaligus Wakil Dekan di Jindal Global, maksud saya di Fakultas Hukum Jindal Global University. Demikian perkenalan dua speakers kita. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let me invite the honorable speaker, the first speaker, Dr. Rahul Bandari. Dr. Rahul Bandari, would you please?
Am I audible?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Will you allow me to share my screen,
sure.
Please?
Yeah, please. Please do that. Yeah, you just share it. You just share it. It is automatically. Okay, thank you.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, definitely.
All right. Should I start say Selamat Pagi to all Indonesian participants and a very good morning from India. I hope you and your loved ones are safe and healthy during this hard time which all worlds are facing. On behalf of higher management of OP Jindal Global University, we are very thankful to the rector of Pancasakti University, Dr. Hamida Abdur Rahman, the director of postgraduate program, Dr. Suyono, vice rector of academic affairs, Dr. Pancasakti, head of master law program and space, and a special thanks to my friend Ms. Yoga, the head of international relations, and my brother Dr. Tawfiq. It's really an honor to meet you all in this platform, and I'm extremely very happy actually the way University Pancasakti is basically doing the internationalization process. We are very proud that very recently we have signed an agreement with your university, and your university in a short span of time is very active and a strategic partner for us. I mean, I'm sure you are aware that this is the first time when one of your business school student and your law school student is joining us as a virtual semester exchange program. We have just started the activity between us. Although most of the people knows me, but and Dr. Yoga is already gave my short introduction. Still, I taken on a leverage to introduce myself, not about where I work, more focused on what I do actually. So my name is Rahul. At present, I am a Deputy Director in Office of International Affairs and Global Initiative. This office is dealing with all international partnerships and activities. I worked more than 15 years in international relations. I worked with different state and non-state universities in US, UK, and almost all part of the world. Right now, I'm also covering the ASEAN countries, especially Indonesia, Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia. My core expertise is internationalization of university, international accreditations, and other things which is related with internationalization. And I'm also a part-time teaching professor in different countries, especially on IR and international marketing. That is a short view. I cannot start telling about my university without telling you about India, because I feel that a lot of people have not got that leverage like Dr. Hamida has to visit India. So I'll give you a short thing what India is all about. You can see in the down India is a diversified country. In the down you can see different kind of cartoon, deep kind of cultures we have in India. These are all the landmark states. I'll run a short video which gives you an idea about what India is.
Aku tidur nggak? Aku tidur karena dia tidur.
Halo, ya Pak. Halo Pak. Ya, perlu. Ya Pak, gimana Pak? Halo, gimana Pak?
Bapak ada suara masuk, minta tolong ya dimatikan dulu.
Oh iya.
Ya, terima kasih, di-mute dulu Bapak ya. Dr. Rahul, we cannot hear the voice of the video well. Hello.
Makasih.
With this short video, I hope you understand that India is a country of diversified people. And why I showed this video, because whenever we design some activity between your law school and our law school, we should understand that what are the similarities and difference both the countries having. Because whenever the student travel, they face a problem of cultural shock. When they a new culture,
Dr. Rahul, hello. Dr. Rahul, hello. Are you there?
Yes.
Yeah. Please speak slowly, and I would like to translate it to Bahasa Indonesia a bit, okay? Because all the participants mostly speak Bahasa. Thank you. I'm so sorry. Thank you. Okay.
I was talking about whenever OP Jindal Global University and UPS are planning any international activity, we should understand the diversification of culture we have in both countries, so that the student should not face cultural shock.
Oke, Bapak Ibu, jadi menurut Pak Rahul, nanti kalau ada kerjasama kembali antara Master of Law dan between Universitas Pancasakti Tegal dan Jindal Global University, itu ada banyak persamaan dan perbedaannya. Next, Rahul, Dr. Rahul, please. Next.
All right. A short about our university. Our university is one of the top private university in India.
Okay, ini Universitas Jindal ini top universitas di India, Bapak Ibu. Next.
And we have total 9 schools in our university.
Ada 9 fakultas.
Yeah, so we have a school of law, that is Hukum. We have school of business, school of international affairs, school of banking and finance, school of government and public policy, school of liberal art and humanities, school of journalism, school of architecture, and very recently we have opened school of environment and sustainability.
Oke, Bapak Ibu, kalau ini tidak usah diterjemahkan ya, sudah kelihatan sekali. No need to translate in this part. You go. You next. Okay, thank you.
The most important part of Jindal is we are the only university in the Asia, I'm not talking about India, which is having 1:9 faculty and student ratio. That means every 9 students, there is 1 faculty member in the class, which shows that how much we are focused about quality of teaching.
Jadi Jindal Global itu sangat fokus pada kualitas. Tidak bicara di India, tapi bicaranya sudah Asia. Next.
Okay, and the most important, almost 18% of our full-time faculties are from different part of the world. So we have faculty from Australia, US, UK, Germany, Indonesia, Vietnam, Thailand, Myanmar, Japan, Korea. You name the country, we have a faculty from that country, full-time.
Jadi Jindal Global itu sudah bekerja sama dengan beberapa negara tersebut. Semua fakultasnya, hampir semua fakultas di negara yang dimention oleh Pak Rahul ini.
The most important part, our university ranking in the world is 800, and if we talk about our ranking in Asia, it is 450.
Oke, ranking 800 di dunia, dan untuk Asia, what is the rank for Asia? 450, 450 di Asia dan 800 di dunia, Bapak Ibu. Itu Jindal Global University rankingnya. Okay, next.
Okay, these are some ranking which I was talking about.
Okay.
In the world, it comes under 751 to 800. We comes on best 150 universities under 50 years, and these all are our law and international accreditation for our law program and other programs.
I don't think it is not necessary to be translated. It is very clear.
So let me give you an idea about how the life is basically in JGU. So we have lot of societies for law students, especially like a Society of Debate Society, Moot Courts, Legal Aid Clinics, Jindal Women in Law. This is a student society who work on different area of law inside the campus.
Jadi ini semacam kegiatan di mahasiswa di Jindal Global University. Kalau law sendiri, kita ada Debate Society, ada Human Rights Society, sama Legal Aid Clinic. Sama ini Jindal Women and Law Society. Ada Moot Court Society. Okay, thank you, Rahul.
Every year we have a different international event where we invited people from around the world. So guests from US, UK, Australia comes for different event, not only for music and sports, they come for international conferences and all. So these are small idea how we live in Jindal.
Oke, ini adalah kegiatan yang mengundang beberapa universitas di dunia, Bapak Ibu. Ya, tidak hanya musik saja, tapi cultural juga. Next.
So as we all are talking about only law school, I will focus my thing on Jindal Global Law School, which is having a 3 kind of program: graduate program, BA LLB, BA LLB Honors, BA Honors, Legal Studies, and LLB. We have a master program, LLM, and we have doctorate program also, where a lot of university professors are doing doctorate with us in law. So that's where we want to see if one of your or some of your professor wants to do doctorate in law, they can join us on scholarship also.
Oke, jadi Bapak Ibu, kalau ada yang tertarik untuk PhD, doctoral program untuk law, untuk hukum, Bapak Ibu bisa ke Jindal University. Di sana juga ada scholarship, ada beasiswa. Jadi mereka global ini ada 3 ya. Ada graduate itu yang S1, postgraduate S2, doctoral ini yang S3. Karena Bapak Ibu posisinya sekarang adalah S2, maka monggo kalau Bapak Ibu akan PhD di Jindal Global University, but your English must be very good. Okay, that's the requirement. Bahasa Inggris Bapak Ibu harus bagus ya, karena semuanya language instruction-nya dalam bahasa Inggris. Terima kasih. Next.
Yeah, and I'm also looking for Dr. Yoga if we can join, design some joint program or a dual degree program for our students, either in graduate or postgraduate level. Some of your, like if you have a law program in English or some part is in English, we can join those programs and make out a one program. That's what we call joint degree. So the students who are studying in, suppose, UPS, their credit is already accepted by my university. After completing some credit with me, finally he will get a degree which is approved and recommended by both the universities. So that is a concept I wanted to explore with UPS law schools.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm honored and blessed you offer me this. Jadi Bapak Ibu, Pak Rahul ini, Dr. Rahul ini menawarkan semacam joint degree program. Bapak Ibu bisa, jadi misalnya gini, yang graduate, yang dari S1 atau S2, bisa juga kuliah di Global Jindal, mungkin 1 semester gitu ya, atau 2 semester, karena joint degree. Nah, tergantung kurikulumnya. Beliau itu menawarkan program itu. Monggo Ibu Direktur nanti yang bisa follow up ini. Saya hanya menyampaikan apa yang Pak Rahul sampaikan. Thank you. Next.
As I'm an international guy, OP Jindal Global University have 262 international partners in all over the world. You can see we have partners with more than 55 countries. So if my law students wants to travel any part of the world, so in their 4-year program, they can travel any of these countries for semester exchange, summer school, immersion program, life project, internships. So there are a lot of opportunity we give our student in terms of international exposure.
Oke, jadi Bapak Ibu, ini partnership-nya Global Jindal, ada beberapa tadi 53 negara. Jadi mahasiswa Jindal itu bisa travel ke negara ini atau belajar di negara ini untuk summer camp program, atau sit-in program, atau project program. So any kind of programs. Mereka bisa ke negara-negara ini karena sudah ada MOU dengan negara-negara ini. Jadi mereka biasanya rata-rata belajar diberi kesempatan sebesar-besar untuk belajar juga di negara-negara ini. Karena mereka adalah negara-negara tersebut adalah partner JGU, Jindal Global University. Thank you. Next, please.
Even after that, once they complete their program, we give them an opportunity for international internships as well as full job with these companies. So we have collaboration with these companies for international internship and full-time job for our law students.
Okay, so ini tawaran menarik dari bukan tawaran menarik ya. Jadi Pak Rahul mungkin kita bisa seperti beliau. Jadi di Jindal Global University ini ada international internship, magang internasional. Tapi di perusahaan-perusahaan ini Bapak Ibu yang ada di layar, nah itu bisa menjadi full-time. Right? Full-time and part-time internship, right? That's offline and online.
The international internship is offline. They have to go and spend a semester or a week or 15
days. Okay. But today is a pandemic.
No, right now it's an online.
Yes, okay.
I'm talking about before COVID.
Oh, oke, thank you. Jadi menurut Pak Rahul, jadi internship itu magang Bapak Ibu, magangnya itu offline berarti Bapak Ibu harus ke company ini. Mostly what countries are the company mostly from?
We have, I'm giving an example, like my students can go on international internship in Supreme Court of Hawaii.
Mereka di Hawaii, Supreme Court di Hawaii. Ini kita bicara law ya. Terus, and then, sorry.
So these are some example. Like 4 of our students get internship or judicial clerkships in Supreme Court of Hawaii. So this is the Supreme Court of Hawaii, and these are a student and our vice chancellor. Our law students is also get an opportunity to do an internship under Columbia Law School. Our law students have won a debate competition with Oxford Law School. That is one of the biggest thing in India. Like our student, we go to Oxford and they won the first prize and they defeat the Oxford team in law.
Wow!
So
Congratulations.
Something And it's special thing that our law program is recognized by Australian government. So my student can complete the program and go Australia for higher study as well as for the job. So there is no problem. They don't need to compare the degree. It's automatically accepted.
Wow, jadi mahasiswa hukum digital itu bisa ke Australia. What kind of company? What kind of university, Dr. Rahul?
Any law firm, any law school, or even though they can work in anywhere because the degree is approved by Australian government.
Oke, jadi ijazahnya itu diakui oleh Australian government yang dari General Global University. So, mahasiswa Global General University, mahasiswa hukum bisa bekerja di Australia dimanapun atau diterima di universitas manapun kalau mereka mau mendaftar ke jenjang yang lebih tinggi. Next.
Yeah. So similarly, my student can every year they can go for 2 weeks in Oxford or Cambridge or maybe to Harvard for 2-week program, and we are the only university I think in India who have the partnerships with these 3 universities.
Oh, and that's very excellent.
Yeah, Cornell for law program, Cornell and all these top universities of law. We are partners and having a dual degree with them even.
Oke, jadi mahasiswa General Global itu bisa 2 minggu program di beberapa universitas bergengsi di dunia seperti Oxford, right? Oxford, Harvard also, Harvard University, Cambridge, ini universitas and Cornell University.
Cornell, Thatcher, I mean, they all are top universities in the world.
Yeah, I know. The top universitas di dunia, Harvard, Cornell, Cambridge, and Oxford. Jadi mahasiswa sana bisa 2 weeks program, right?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Okay, 2 weeks program di universitas yang kami sebut tadi. Terima kasih. Next.
So these are some glimpses of different countries, ambassador, minister who visited us recently in our law school. They are from Korea, China, they are from Mozambique, they are from Australia, and we have signed multiple of agreement with them.
Ya, ini beberapa foto-foto ya yang signing agreement, Bapak Ibu, agreement itu semacam kesepakatan ya. Negara-negara ada dari mana tadi? What other countries? I don't remember well. Australia, China.
Yeah, China. We have from Korea,
Japan. Okay.
I mean, almost all. I just cannot put all the pictures. So
I know. Ya, tidak bisa di display semuanya, Bapak Ibu, ini hanya at glance saja, sekilas saja. Okay. Next.
So these are small. I'm giving you like our law student have got an opportunity in SMU, Singapore, and other schools. They go for semester exchange, dual degree, or full-time degree also.
Okay. Ini
in Indonesia, of course, we just started in Indonesia, especially with Jenderal Sudirman University, Airlangga University, and UPS, SAU. So a couple of partners where we have started.
Okay.
Also, we have started recently. I'm giving you only Asia right now because we are in Asia. So we are exploring now in Asia. Earlier, we don't go to Asian countries. We more focus on European. Now we start having partnerships with all ASEAN countries and Asian countries. So this is something which we have initiated recently.
Selain Eropa, Global University juga punya beberapa agreement dengan Asia seperti Thailand tadi dan Vietnam serta Indonesia. Jadi ini memang first rank of university ya, for private university in India. Ini rankingnya ranking nomor 1 di India General Global ini, Bapak Ibu, tapi dia private. Global General itu private, bukan state university. Maksud saya swasta, tapi swasta nomor 1 di India. Dr. Rahul?
Yeah, I'm sorry. So allow me to run one more video about my program and things. It gives you an idea what I have said. Easy to understand.
Okay, ini Global General Bapak Ibu. Sekolahnya, universitasnya maksudnya.
I love this place the time and I made up my mind the time I saw the platform there, and I will be here for 5 years. I thought I was really mature, I thought I was smart, but after coming here, I think I actually had to face real life situations, and it's called reality. JSU is one of the prettiest campuses I've been to any law school.
The hostel is very good. You get any kind of facilities you need. The cleaning and laundry service, food service is very good.
This is amazing. The food quality is amazing. Hygienic.
I think it's better to have a food court on campus as it provides us with more variety.
And that like Chicago pizza and AFC is really convenient and tasty.
Are fully air conditioned, have a library on each floor.
As you can see, there's a huge snooker table in front of me. We have TV, we have music systems,
Laundry service, cleaning service, everything is taken care of.
I think we have everything we could have asked for. It's home away from home. I think the faculty is one of the reasons I came to this university to begin with.
The faculty here is truly remarkable. Harvard, Yale, Oxford, Cambridge are the names of few universities where our professor comes from. No university has that phenomenal faculty.
The professors are brilliant, they are interactive, they are approachable, they are a fun lot. And our student-professor relationships are very different from what I found in other colleges.
We have a very good faculty-student bonding as well. They are the ones who act not only as a faculty, not only as a teacher, but they also act as a mentor to us.
They know that we have problems in speaking English, and so they understand what kind of situations are we facing and try to help us.
YouTube has given me a platform to improve beyond my capabilities.
This college is actually local where they provide me course programs and everything.
It's given me the opportunity to spend one semester in Hamburg at Bucharest Law School. So it was an extremely comparative and holistic experience of the law that I got.
The placement cell is one of the most active cells in the school because like we are having a 100% track record of
After first year, we also got an excellent internship opportunities. We have a very close with alumni who actually go out of your way and help you out. And even if you meet some alumni across the town, or if you meet them in Delhi or perhaps anywhere you go in India. Since it's a residential university, I was a little skeptical at first that, if I have a class, what am I supposed to do after class and what am I going to do on campus the whole day? Where do I start from? Where do I end from? You name the event that happened on campus. You name the party that happened on campus.
Every second day there's a good ethnic night or there's a Bollywood night, and then there's also sports activities.
Mostly parties are on the weekends, so we used to finish our assignments by Thursday and then we used to party. So it was really fun.
Everybody, put your hands up.
We participated in the cultural night. People from Kerala, for example, they dance pretty well.
If you love sports, is that you will always have something to do on campus all the time.
We have tennis, we have cricket, we have basketball.
We have two major fests. One is swimming, that is our cultural fest, and the second one is Magnus, which is our sports fest.
So starting with 20 people around the mess table, we now have 850 participants from across the country every year. If there is someone who likes Indian music, there is something for them. If there's someone who likes theatre, we have a theatre fest in our college.
Campus radio. That's one of its kind, actually. It's a small idea about starting something new and experimenting with our own scope.
The main objective of ours in this clinic is to aim and bridge the gap between classroom learning and legal accessibility.
You are not restricted by any age-old practices. You can start traditions, you can start societies. You just need to have one idea that you're passionate about, and you can find all the support that you need in this college to sort of take it forward and make what you want out of it.
orang itu ya masa berlaku ya.
Really a life-changing experience here. I love everything about this place: the culture, the focus, the support, and endless opportunities.
First,
Same different, we are JJ.
we are JJ. JJ has had a major contribution transforming me in terms of academics and conduct.
I found it myself. And now we are innovating. We are JJ. We are JJ. We are JJ.
Aku main lagi po. Telat.
All right, so this is a short video about how we live in our university, how the students do, and what are the facilities we have in the campus.
Okay.
Let's move on to the important part. Did you generally offer a lot of scholarship for international students? Almost 70% of our international students are some form of scholarship for maybe for full-time program or maybe for semester programs also. So there are certain 5 kind of scholarship which we would like to open for all Indonesian students. They can apply for this scholarship and they go for it.
Okay, jadi General Global juga menyediakan, General Global juga menyediakan beasiswa ya, baik full time maupun part time. Jadi Bapak Ibu termasuk untuk mahasiswa Indonesia. Next.
Thank you very much. Terima kasih. I'm so sorry I have took a lot of time, but I wanted to give you a detailed description about that. Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Rahul, for your nice presentations. We love General Global University. Some students say here in the comment that General Global University is top university in India. Sumber pembiayaan dari mana aja? Okay, they ask you about the source of the budgeting. I'm sorry. So you can see on the screen.
Yeah.
But I think if you are not comfortable to answer this, no need to answer. It's okay. They just ask you. Okay.
As being, even though Indian, I love all Indonesian people, and I really want all your students whoever wants to enhance their career and looking for another degree, we are very happy to host them. And I'm sure that under our capacity, we will support your student and university in terms of internationalization and getting a better career and job in future also.
Bapak Ibu, pokoknya ini menurut Pak Rahul, beliau welcoming ya. Jika Bapak Ibu mau meng-apply scholarship di sana, jadi termasuk untuk career and job ya. Pergi ke India Bapak Ibu. Tapi Pak Rahul sendiri loves Indonesia very much loh ya. Beliau malah lebih suka di Indonesia. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, yeah. Thank you. So is Prof Malvika here already? Dr. Rahul, is Prof Malvika here?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here. Okay. Good morning.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, let me invite the honorable speaker, our second speaker, Professor Malvika Said. Professor Malvika Said, please.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I would like to extend my warm gratitude and regards to all of my colleagues from Pancasakti Tegal University. And of course, I want to thank Rahul for showing such a wonderful presentation about life at General Global University. Hopefully, we will be welcoming your students soon on our campus.
Thank you. Thank you. So would you like to show their own presentations or okay?
Yes. I'm just trying to load it up. I'm not sure if my screen is visible. Could you?
Yeah, it is visible. It is visible already. That's good.
So I wanted to make a small presentation about the human rights law in India and also give you a brief outlook of the history of human rights in India, and then to maybe discuss how the things have changed during the pandemic. So human rights tradition has been a part of both the Indian tradition and the Buddhist tradition since ancient India. which was added upon to by the Mughal era. During the Mughal time as well, Indians enjoyed a certain freedom and certain equality before the law. I'm pausing, so if there is any requirement of translation.
I'm sorry. We already translated your PowerPoint, so it's okay. All the students have the translations already on their hands, so don't worry. You just continue. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. It was during the British rule, during the colonial era, that Indians first felt the pinch of not having equal status and equal recognition of their human rights with respect to the state and with respect to other members of the British community that were living in India. So that was the first time that there was a certain difference that they felt in how they were treated as opposed to other British people. This led to a strong demand for recognition of human rights during the time of the nationalist struggle, which is the reason that during the constitutional development of India, after independence in 1947, the Constitutional Committee, the Constitutional Assembly, they met for about 3 years in the process of drafting the Constitution. And throughout the discussion related to human rights took a precedence, and it was of a very important consideration that came up. The fact that there were lack of civil liberties during the British rule, the fact that social conditions were terrible, and it particularly affected certain minorities in India as well as women. India has always had a very diverse culture, as Rahul has also pointed out. There are different religions, different linguistic and ethnic groups that have existed in India and that have lived peacefully in India. However, they were exploited by the British rule, and there was a division that was created between the people. So because of these differences that had arisen, the need to have an equal status and equal recognition of rights was very important. This process started in 1946, 1 year before the independence of India, and went on up till 1950, which is when India adopted its constitution. So it was heavily influenced by the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which was adopted by the United Nations General Assembly in 1948. The rights that were discussed in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, our constitution framers believed that these were important rights and should be included in the Indian Constitution as well. The Indian Constitution in Part 3 enshrines the judicially enforceable civil and political rights, which are worded in a negative language, so as to say that these are the rights in which even the state cannot interfere. So even the government cannot interfere and change these rights. The four most important categories, the rights range from Article 12 to Article 35, which includes the constitutional remedies, but the rights are divided into four categories. The first category is right to equality. This talks about equality before the law and equality of opportunity in all matters of the government, in all matters of educational qualification, in all matters of jobs which are given out by the government. The second category is right to freedom. So these include freedom of movement, freedom of livelihood, freedom of business, freedom of speech and expression, freedom from interference of law. So unless there is a proper law that has been laid down, there is a proper procedure that has been laid down, the state cannot interfere with the life and liberty of a person. The third category is right to cultural education and rights. So every diverse group in India, whether they are diverse in terms of their linguistic traditions or in terms of their religious traditions, they have the right to express themselves. They have the right to teach their culture and to be able to freely profess their culture, so to freely be able to practice their own culture and also to teach their culture. And lastly, the right to constitutional remedies. So if there are, if the state interferes with any of these above mentioned rights, then in that case, it is completely free for the citizen to move to the courts in India, even against the government. So the courts can hold the government liable, which would require the government to pay a compensation and which would require the government to correct their actions that have been taken. I know this is not mentioned on the slides, so I would request you to maybe just very quickly translate this fact that Indian citizens can move against their government if there has been any infringement of their constitutional rights, and the government would be liable to pay a compensation and to correct the actions that they have taken.
Okay, so do I need this point to translate?
Yes, just
No.
this
This point. Jadi Indian government itu membolehkan seseorang untuk semacam menuntut pemerintah terhadap sesuatu, dan kalau menang ya, ini Indian government akan membayar yang bersangkutan, maksudnya yang mengajukan kasus. Thank you.
Thank you. So fundamental rights in India have been given a higher status than other legal rights. They are not seen as equal to being other rights which are provided by other laws. And for this reason, even the legislature or the executive cannot interfere with these rights apart from a very limited way, which is also mentioned in the Constitution. So the Indian Constitution provides the extent of interference that is going to be acceptable for interference into these particular rights. The Supreme Court of India has recognized fundamental rights as natural rights, as human rights, which are available to people, which are available to citizens just by virtue of being human beings. So human rights which were laid down in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, they have found a legal recognition in the Indian Constitution.
Should I translate this part? No. Okay.
Just maybe this last bit.
Okay. The last word. Human right. Sorry. Could you repeat the last word? Mm-hmm.
So human rights have been recognized as natural rights. Fundamental rights have been recognized as natural rights or human rights, which are available to citizens and people in India just by virtue of being a human being.
Jadi human right atau natural right, jadi ini sudah di-recognize, diakui oleh pemerintah India, mengakui Anda, maksudnya Anda citizens of India, warga negara India sebagai manusia. Artinya sebagai manusia dalam artian human right, Bapak ya, in terms of human right. Nah, bukan arti lain. Jadi jadi human right itu istilah lainnya adalah natural right. Karena itu sudah given. Jadi sangat diperhatikan di India. Okay, next. Thank you.
Thank you. One of the most important rights in the fundamental rights is enshrined in Article 21, which is our right to life. So this article is a very short article that just says that no person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty except in accordance with procedure established by law. And no person shall be denied equality before the law or the equal protection of laws within the territory of India. So it's a short article. However, the Supreme Court of India has recognized several rights within this right, because the idea of life is life with dignity and not just mere animal existence. So right to livelihood, right to food, right to health, right to education, and rights of the accused person, all of these rights have been recognized within Article 21 itself to explain to the legal system and to explain to the government that actually life means life with dignity, life with honor, and it is not just about being alive. So there are these essential things which every human being requires and which every human being must be accorded, must be given by the government. So for that reason, these rights have been recognized within Article 21. So maybe you could, very short.
Okay. Jadi Bapak Ibu ini, Bapak Ibu ini adalah fundamental rights. Jenis-jenis fundamental rights yang Bapak Ibu sudah kita terjemahkan untuk Bapak Ibu ya. Right to livelihood, untuk kesehatan, untuk makanan, untuk makan maksudnya ya. Hak untuk hidup, hak untuk makan, hak untuk kesehatan, hak untuk pendidikan, dan hak untuk accused person itu hak tahanan ini juga punya hak, mereka juga punya hak, diberi hak oleh India. Jadi tanpa ada perkecualian ya di Mahkamah India di artikel 21 ini. Tidak cuma hanya hidup saja, tapi maksudnya hak hidup itu tidak hanya hidup saja, tapi hidup sebenarnya sebagai manusia ya. Mereka memiliki hak selayaknya manusia. Begitu. Terima kasih. Thank you. Next.
Thank you. So now I wanted to just briefly discuss how these rights have been affected during the pandemic. And I am bringing up three issues mainly. One is the issue of the migrant workers. The second is the issue of education. And the third is the issue of, first is the issue of migrant workers. Second is the issue of food. And lastly, I'm looking at how education has been impacted during the pandemic.
Ya, oke. Bapak Ibu, ini sekarang fokus pada selama pandemik ya, human right issue selama COVID-19. Next, please. Terutama pada pekerja migran. Yang pertama adalah pada pekerja migran. Next, please.
Thank you. So, according to the last census that was conducted in India, which took place in 2011, there are around 40 million workers in India who are migrant workers. So either they move from one state to the other state, or they move in between their own state but away from their own hometown. Now, why migrant workers are important or why their rights are being seen is because usually these workers fall outside of the political realm. Because if they don't live in the area where they are registered voters, they are no longer able to cast their vote. For this reason, they are sometimes ignored by the government. If you could just translate this political right and the fact that the migrant workers are not able to vote in the areas that they work, that would be very helpful.
So migrant workers are not able to work in that. So
they are not able to vote in the area that they are working, because usually people are registered in the place that they were born in or that they have lived for a long time. So when they move to another area to work, they do not get the recognition.
I'm so sad about that. Okay, jadi migrant workers ini punya haknya di mana dia dilahirkan. Kalau dia pindah state, itu mereka tidak direcognize oleh government. They are not recognized by the government, right? If they move to another state.
So only with respect to voting, the voter cards are made for the city that they actually belong to.
Water?
The identity cards which are required to cast the vote, they are only made for the city that the person actually belongs to. That's actually applicable for me as well. So for example, I am from a different city than where I work right now. So I have to live here for some amount of years before I will get voter recognition in this area.
Okay, we got it. So that's, but in terms very specific, yeah, but not in general. They are still recognized in terms of, as human right. But for the case of a specific thing, like what you have mentioned, they are not recognized. Okay, jadi mereka tidak diakui dalam hal tadi ya. What is the word means? Professor Malvika, what is the specific term, things that they cannot be recognized? Word?
There is no specific term. It is only that they are not able to cast a vote in the place that they are working. Because of that, governments tend to ignore the rights of the migrant workers.
Okay, we got it. Okay, so
That's the.
Okay, tapi secara umum tetap diakui Bapak Ibu ya. Next, please.
So during the nationwide lockdown in 2020, our lockdown started from March 24th. These migrant workers were left with no jobs because everything was shut down. They were left with no source of income, and they were not able to go back to their own hometowns because all the trains, all travel between states, everything had come to a standstill. So basically, they got stuck in that place where they used to work without any job, without any source of income. So this led to a huge issue, and it created several problems for the migrant workers.
Jadi pekerja migran ini nggak bisa kemana-mana selama pandemi. Mereka tidak ada pekerjaan, juga tidak ada income. Tapi karena semua transportasi juga di sana tidak jalan. Jadi mereka stuck di tempat mereka bekerja tanpa ada sumber penghasilan dan tanpa ada pekerjaan. Okay, then what happens to them?
Yeah. So because of lack of food and basic amenities, the loss of employment, fear of unknown, and the lack of social support, many of these workers started walking to their hometowns, which was usually very far away. This led to several deaths that took place, and during the lockdown, about 300 deaths were recorded till May 30th, 2020, when the initial lockdown period got over, which took place because of starvation and because of the fact that the migrant workers were walking from one place to the other. So if you could just stress
okay, sure.
That they had to walk from where they used to work.
Sure. Jadi migrant workers ini Bapak Ibu karena lockdown, mereka jalan jauh sekali dari tempat mereka bekerja ke rumahnya. Jadi pulang nekat begitu Bapak Ibu. Pulang nekat jadi menyebabkan 300 kematian yang dilaporkan loh ya. Kalau yang dilaporkan kita nggak tahu. 300 kematian sampai dengan bulan Mei tanggal 30 2020 karena kelaparan, bunuh diri, kecapean atau kecelakaan di jalan dan ketidakhadiran medis di sana, jadi tidak dipedulikan oleh medis oleh Departemen Kesehatan di sana. Thank you. Next.
The government action was slow. However, the Supreme Court finally gave certain orders which required the government to ensure free transportation, to provide meals to the migrant workers till the time that they were away from their homes, and to provide other free basic amenities to the migrant workers in the places where they were stranded. So before the migrant workers actually reached home, the government was ordered by the Supreme Court to ensure that they got a free transport back to their own hometowns. Until the time they got back to their hometowns, they had to be provided with food and other basic necessities at the expense of the government.
Okay, so berita ini agak lamban ya. Jadi Supreme Court, Mahkamah Agung atau Pengadilan Tinggi memerintahkan pemerintah untuk taking care para migrant workers ini, memberikan mereka free transportation gratis ya, juga selama perjalanan mereka harus diberi makanan sampai di tempat tujuan, begitu Bapak Ibu. Jadi Indian government ini ditegur oleh Supreme Court. Jadi karena mereka melindungi human right of migrant workers, because Supreme Court is trying to protect the human rights of migrant workers, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes.
Because the right to food and right to livelihood has been recognized as a fundamental right.
Iya, karena mereka punya hak-hak fundamental right seperti yang kita tahu tadi 5, terutama right to livelihood, hak untuk hidup dan hak untuk makanan, right to foods. Thank you.
Thank you. Right to food has also been recognized as a fundamental right within the right to life, and the Indian government is required by law to provide basic food facilities, basic nutritional food to all of its population. So by law, the state is required to provide either dry food or prepared home-cooked food for all of the population that is below poverty line or that has been identified as people who will not be able to procure food on a day-to-day basis. Okay. These are programs which are run in normal times as well.
Oh, so during the normal times, this program also runs. Oke, jadi pemerintah India diminta untuk menjamin makanan seluruh penduduk India, terutama mereka yang kekurangan makanan, Bapak Ibu ya. Ini karena tadi hak-hak fundamental, human right yang right to food. Jadi oleh hukum pemerintah India diminta securing the people from starvations. Tidak hanya pada pandemik, juga pada normal times. Pada waktu normal pun diminta demikian. Okay, thank you.
So during the pandemic, the normal programs that were run were disrupted because everything was locked down.
I see.
For some time, India also faced the threat of food insecurity because the lockdown took place right at the time when the harvest season begins. So a lot of fruits and vegetable crop got wasted because there was no labor to harvest it.
Oke, jadi selama pandemik Bapak Ibu, karena lockdown, jadi banyak hasil panen yang terbuang termasuk vegetables, jadi nggak bisa dikirim kemana-mana, yaitu insecurity foodnya di India. So, karena tidak ada transportasi, jadi terbuang percuma hasil panennya. Especially for vegetables, untuk yang basah-basah kayak vegetables sama fruits ya, itu jadi terbuang. Sekali lagi karena nggak ada no transportations at that time to carry the foods. Okay, yeah, thank you.
So, because of the food insecurity, the normal programs that are run by the government, they were disrupted, and to that, for some weeks, people were not provided the normal rations that the government is supposed to provide them. So to combat this issue, some state governments started creating food kits with 17 essential items, which included wheat, rice, pulses, cooking oil, sugar, salt, and some other fruits and vegetables which are locally available and locally part of diet in that particular area. So these started to be distributed to people who were facing an issue, and the distribution was larger than usually what the government does because there were more people who were affected by insecurity.
Oke, jadi semacam pembagian sembako Bapak Ibu, pemerintah India juga ada untuk mereka yang terkena pandemik, dan jumlahnya tentu saja besar ya karena penduduk India kan besar. Itu intinya itu ya. Jadi mereka tiap state punya inisiasi. State di sini kayak negara bagian gitu ya, punya inisiasi untuk distribusi to distribute this kind of like food packages, right? Yeah,
yes.
Seperti sembako lah di Indonesia. It also happens in Indonesia. Okay, next please. Thank you.
And community kitchens were set up in lots of places where people could just come and get prepared food if facility manage.
Oke, jadi ada dapur umum ya, semacam dapur umum yang didirikan di setiap di provinsi atau negara bagian ya. So it's like a kitchen for public, right? Those who affected by pandemic, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Next.
Joget ke wali kota malah kapan itu sama anak-anak.
Bapak, bisa di mute Bapak? Halo, suaranya masuk. Okay, thank you. Professor Malvika, please.
Okay. So there were also certain partnerships made between private companies and the government, which allowed the government to take the help of technology to make these delivery systems more effective. So these private companies identified the areas where there were maximum number of people who were very poor and who had very few resources during the pandemic, and the delivery systems could be operated in such a way that first the deliveries could take place in those areas. So public partnerships, public-private partnerships between corporations and governments also took place as part of charity from the companies to assist the government in delivering these food packages to the most needful people.
Jadi pemerintah India ini menggandeng pihak swasta ya untuk menciptakan teknologi yang bisa mengantar makanan sampai ke orang yang sangat membutuhkan. What kind of technology, by the way?
So these were like we have food delivery apps.
Jadi aplikasi food delivery, pakainya mobile Bapak Ibu. So it can be tracking.
Yes.
Okay, so jadi bisa di track sampai di mana nih foodnya, karena ada lockdown, jadi mereka delivery distribusinya menggunakan teknologi lewat mobile, jadi tahu betul apakah ini sudah sampai atau belum. So is it very successful?
So this did not take place all over India. There were some places in which if I am a company who runs a food delivery business, used my data from the app and gave that data to the government so that they could identify the places, plus my delivery persons who used to previously deliver pizzas and other fast food used to deliver these food packages for the government.
Oke, jadi tidak semua di negara India ya, hanya beberapa bagian aja. Caranya ya identitas Anda harus ada di aplikasi tersebut, sehingga makanan, maksudnya identitas orang yang membutuhkan ya selama pandemi itu ada di aplikasi tersebut, sehingga bisa didistribusi oleh pemerintah India. Thank you.
You could maybe give an example of any food delivery service that is available very common.
Yeah. It is very common here for delivery food by using mobile applications also in Indonesia. So I think the participants know well of this. We name it GoFood here. But it is Gojek. Okay, GoFood. Yeah, it is delivery food using the applications from the mobile phone. It's very common here.
GoFood would have used their personnel to, instead of delivering food from restaurants, to be delivering these food packages to most affected areas, like that.
Jadi kira-kira sistem kerjanya kayak GoFood ya Bapak Ibu, cuma bedanya ini dari pemerintah. Kalau kita GoFoodnya GoFood sendiri, makan pizza sendiri gitu loh ya. Okay, next. Thank you, Prof. Malika. Go on.
Yes. So these measures were taken by the government because the Supreme Court has recognized that right to food is an essential right for right to life, and the government in all situations is required by law to provide a bare minimum basic standard of nutrition and food to the affected persons.
Jadi pemerintah India menyediakan food yang paling basic untuk orang yang paling membutuhkan. Intinya itu Bapak Ibu. Cuma tentu saja ada beberapa permasalahan seperti tadi ya, ketika lockdown tidak bisa deliver dengan baik, jadinya diberikan sistem aplikasi tadi, tapi tetap aja itu tidak menjangkau keseluruhan karena India kan India is very big, just like Indonesia. So of course there is the system is not really successful because it is applied only for small parts of India, right?
This technology that was being applied for only small, especially mostly in cities.
Kebanyakan di kota.
But in villages, the government was doing it on their own. So this is just an example of where companies were also assisting the governments, but the government is required to do it all over the country.
Oke, jadi intinya kalau yang teknologi itu memang hanya ada di perkotaan, kalau di pedesaan ya didistribusikan dengan kebijakan masing-masing daerah tersebut, begitu Bapak Ibu. Thank you. So the state has its own policy to deliver the food during the pandemic for those who need it.
So the state is required to do it even in normal times.
Oh, bahkan di normal.
Yes.
So in a normal time. So until now, the government, I mean the state, is still responsible for providing the food. Oh, jadi Bapak Ibu sampai sekarang mereka masih bertanggung jawab. Maksudnya mereka itu state ya, negara bagian atau provinsi ini masih bertanggung jawab untuk the right of food. Even in a normal time, bahkan di normal time. Jadi but now it is still pandemic. We call it normal, but it is still in a pandemic, right? Okay.
No. So what I mean is that even without the pandemic, the state has a duty of providing this. And of course, it was affected because there was lack of food, there was lack of transportation. But then the state caught on to it very quickly. Because this is a duty that has been cast on the state by the Supreme Court of India by recognizing that right to food is an essential component of right to life.
Okay, so I got it. So it is an obligations for the state to provide the right to food to those who need the food. I mean the poor, even in a normal time, because it is the right. Oh, it is their right. Okay. Jadi Bapak Ibu, karena itu sudah menjadi hak fundamental warga negara India, terutama yang dalam konteks miskin Bapak Ibu ya, yang tidak punya bukan tidak punya makanan, mungkin makanannya kurang gitu ya. Saya kalau mau ngomong tidak punya makanan kayak gimana gitu ya. Jadi nutrisinya tidak cukup, maka India, pemerintah India yang state, maksudnya yang provinsi ini punya kewajiban untuk membantu mereka. Meskipun tidak dalam pandemi, karena ini adalah hak mereka untuk mendapatkan makanan. Thank you. Next.
I will very quickly talk about the right to education, which is also that is available to the Indian citizens. And this right means that the state is required to provide primary school education free of cost to all the citizens.
Is this during the pandemic?
No, always.
Also in the normal time, free cost. Jadi for elementary only.
For primary education.
Okay, jadi untuk primary education kayak SD gitu Bapak Ibu ya, gratis di India meskipun tidak pandemic. So it is really free of charge in India for primary.
So there are schools which are completely run free of charge, and of course there are schools which are private schools where you pay a fee. So depending upon which school you choose to join, the government is required to run free schools, which they do.
Oh, okay. So not all the schools in India, not all primary schools, because it depends on the policy. I mean, private schools,
only the government schools. So the government.
I see. Only the government schools.
As well.
Okay, so only the government schools who are free are free of charge. Jadi Bapak Ibu, sekolah dasar yang gratis itu hanya yang sekolah negeri. Kalau swasta ya bayar gitu. So the private school does not get any fund from the government.
No.
Oh, jadi di sana kalau di India tidak ada dana BOS gitu ya Pak ya untuk yang sekolah swasta. Meskipun ada the right of education is an obligation, tapi di sekolah swasta yang untuk SD yang primary school itu masih harus bayar. Gitu, karena mereka tidak ada bantuan sama sekali dari pemerintah India. Okay, thank you.
But all schools have to follow the regulations that are set down by the government.
Of course.
They may not be getting any funding if they are completely privately run. So let's say if I open a school, I may not get funding, but I will have to follow the regulations of the government. So I cannot teach anything I want.
Okay. Jadi Bapak Ibu, meskipun private schools, they have to follow the government regulations. ya, but they don't get the fund. Tapi mereka memang tidak mendapatkan fund, tapi mereka fund itu dana dari pemerintah ya maksud saya, tapi mereka tetap harus they are obliged to follow the government regulations. Mereka tetap harus mematuhi aturan pemerintah. Jadi nggak bisa seenak sendiri. They cannot do whatever they want. So government is the guidance for them. Government's policy. Yeah. Thank you.
That is true for all education in India. School education, college education, university education, everything is regulated by government policy, and the government gives funds to some institutions which are in need and does not give funds to the other institutions that are running privately. So government also runs its own institutions at all levels, which are either free. So for example, schools are free. Colleges, the ones that the government runs, they charge very, very small, minimal amount of fee from the students.
Okay, but they are state colleges, right? State
There are state colleges,
state
but they are not
universities.
free.
Yeah.
Yes, there are state universities, but they are not free. They are very cheap in comparison, but they are not free.
It's similar like here in Indonesia. Jadi kayak universitas di sana yang negeri juga dapat dana, tapi tidak gratis ya kalau misalnya menjadi mahasiswa di universitas di India, tapi membayarnya sangat murah. Tapi untuk yang universitas negeri ya, kalau yang private, of course they are very different. Okay, the government does not give the fund for the private universities, right? Ya, tidak memberikan dana untuk yang swasta, pokoknya mau sekolah, mau universitas, the government tidak memberikan dana. Next, please.
This is so that the government can use the funds to provide at least some education free to its citizens. And this right keeps on changing. So initially it was to a very low level in school. Now the level has risen in school, for which the government has to provide free education. Slowly, as India develops, we may have a time where the government needs to provide all education free of cost. At least there should be one option that if I choose to go to a government university, government school, then I don't have to pay any money. We have not reached that complete stage yet, but it is a progressive right.
So it is processing, okay? It takes time, right?
Yes.
It is now processing gradually, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Jadi Bapak Ibu, untuk yang gratis ini, pemerintah India sedang berusaha untuk menggratiskan biaya pendidikan di all levels, tapi ya masih proses. Jadi step by step, not tidak tiba-tiba gratis semua. Okay, maybe it depends on the government's budget and so on and so on.
Resources, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
So during the pandemic, because the schools were shut down, luckily the government had already been preparing for quite some years now online content for all classes, all subjects in many languages that are common in India. And now this database is available online on the internet free of cost. This database is already also being used to be telecasted on television in those areas where internet is not available. And it is also being broadcasted on radio.
Oh, I see. So those who cannot, those areas which cannot access the internet, they can access it through radio and TV, because the database is spread to the TV and radio channels. Okay.
Yes.
Bapak Ibu,
the government has taken over some TV channels which play class by class and subject by subject content at different times in the day, and wherever this is based, so if a different language is followed there, then that language will be used for the broadcast.
Okay, jadi Bapak Ibu, untuk selama pandemi ini, of course online learning ya yang diterapkan oleh India. Tapi India di sini, pemerintah India ini sudah prepare well for online learning. Jadi mereka kalau untuk daerah-daerah yang tidak ada akses internet, mereka dapat menikmatinya dengan jadwal tiap subjeknya, so what is it in Indonesia? Subjek tiap-tiap mata pelajaran di di TV dan radio-radio di India karena pemerintah India sudah maksudnya mengambil alih beberapa TV channels. Ada 32 TV channels dan juga radio untuk mengedukasi hak right to education. So right to education can be accessed to everybody in India because Indian government has prepared well for those who are not who do not have internet access. So well done, good, congratulations there. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So these programs are now being run during the pandemic. They are being used a lot more than they were being used before. So that is how the Indian government is trying to ensure the right to education to
India. Itu adalah cara pemerintah India memastikan bahwa penduduknya punya hak pendidikan penduduknya terjamin dengan baik oleh pemerintah India. So Indian government is trying to protect the citizens' right to education, so they are able to enjoy or they are able to have the education during the pandemic. Okay, so ensuring the citizens of India. So in every area, even in the remote area, for having the right of education, right?
Yes.
Oke, jadi seperti itu Bapak Ibu ya. Jadi tentu saja aplikasinya, maksud aplikasi implementasinya mungkin masih ada kekurangan, masih ada kelebihan, itu hal yang biasa. Tapi pada intinya pemerintah India menjamin hak pendidikan setiap warga negaranya melalui cara-cara tersebut yang sudah saya sebutkan, yang sudah saya terangkan selama pandemi. Thank you.
Thank you. So I wanted to end here and maybe have some questions if your students would like to ask.
Oke, Bapak Ibu, demikian presentasi Profesor Malvika. Kalau Bapak Ibu ada pertanyaan, silakan bisa langsung komunikasi dengan beliau. Saya cek dulu. So, thank you very much for very fruitful presentations. I learned a lot for human rights in India, especially in pandemics. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Bapak Ibu, so it is your time to ask questions or to ask to have the answer and question sessions. But wait. If I'm not mistaken, Dr. Rahul here? Is Dr. Rahul here?
We always face some internet issues, so he may have lost his.
Masih di sini. Hello, Dr. Rahul. Yeah, so after the presentations of Prof. Malvika, so are you going to take us the field trip first, or are we going to have a question and answer session first?
First of all, I really thankful to Professor Malvika who spent her precious time for us. Yeah, and of course I respect the time of all the people. I think we should go with Q&A first, so that at least Professor Malvika can be free. And then later on, we can have other things which take some time. So let us start with the QA part first, and then later on, I'll or my colleague will take you for the question.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Rahul. So, Bapak Ibu, ternyata menurut Pak Rahul, kita question and answer session dulu. Pak Profesor Malvikanya masih di sini karena beliau sepertinya akan segera meninggalkan acara webinar. Silakan Bapak Ibu yang mau bertanya. Oh, sudah ada. Dipilih ya. Boleh bicara, Bapak Ibu. Boleh mengenalkan diri. Andian.
Yeah.
Oke, Pak Andian ya. Monggo Pak Andian.
Yeah.
So,
to Prof. Miss siapa tadi?
Malvika, Bapak. Malvika.
Oh ya, Malvika. I just want to ask you, Miss Prof. Where is the Indian government budget drawn from to protect its citizens during a pandemic, such as free school fees? And is it tax from its citizens or is it fund from other countries?
Okay, thank you.
Just that.
Yes. So,
okay, thank you.
Most of these rights that I have discussed, these are rights which were available to Indian citizens even without the pandemic. So the budgets have slowly been increased by the pressures created by the Supreme Court of India, and these budgets usually come from the taxes that are collected from the citizens. However, we haven't really faced any drastic rise in the taxes. It's just a better management of the money that is available. It's not that our taxation regime has significantly changed. These rights have slowly grown.
Ini itu lengkap obat yang CPOB.
Halo Bapak, dimatikan dulu nggih, yang di-mute dulu Bapak, yang tidak berkepentingan, biar bisa jelas suaranya nggih. Could you please mute your microphone Bapak ya.
Just
But others, yeah. Okay, Prof. Malvika, would you repeat your answer, please? Thank you.
Yes. So the budgets are created from citizen taxes. However, taxes have not been increased in any drastic manner since these rights have come into existence. The rights have existed for quite some years now, and slowly the budgets have been diverted in such a way so as to provide more benefit to the citizens, both for education as well as for a right to food. So even from the very conception of India, from its very independence, there have been, to some extent, some of these rights were available even then. For example, there were government schools ever since India began its independent journey. And it's just that more resources and more budget are being allocated to it to make it more effective.
Okay. Pak Adian nggih, Pak Adian jelas nggak Pak? Atau Bapak Ibu, jadi pertanyaan Pak Adrian tadi mengenai Andian, Pak Andian dari mana Bapak? Maksudnya institusinya kalau boleh tahu, Pak Andian?
Dari UPS, Pasca Hukum.
Oh iya, kalau itu saya tahu, Maksud saya Bapak bekerja di mana?
Okay. Saya di Bank BRI Kanwil.
Oke. Bapak bagian hukum di BRI ya. Okay, he works in a bank for taking care of the law, especially in okay. Jadi Pak Andian ini menanyakan Bapak Ibu, sumbernya dari mana sih dananya itu? Ya kan Pak Andian ya, intinya itu ya. Sumber dana pemerintah India dari mana untuk secure the right to food sama the right to education. Dan Prof. Malvika pada intinya mengatakan bahwa sumber dananya ya dari tax, dari pajak only ya, from tax only, right? The source, okay, dari pajak tanpa menaikkan pajak, but the tax does not rise, right?
It has not significantly risen since these rights have come into existence, because these rights have not come in suddenly. They have been developed over a period of time. So the government has been able to divert and better manage their budgets.
Okay, jadi sementara ini belum ada kenaikan pajak, tapi tentu saja kenaikan pajak itu pasti ada, dan tapi tidak tiba-tiba ya, samalah seperti di Indonesia. Intinya adalah better manajemen yang bagus pada pada sumber dana tadi, yaitu pajak. Jadi murni dari pajak, tidak ada dari pihak lain. Tidak menyampaikan tidak ada dari pihak lain, tapi pada intinya dari pajak. Kita tidak tahu kalau pihak lainnya ya Pak Ardian ya, karena tidak disampaikan di sini. Terima kasih Pak Ardian, jelas Pak Ardian, dan Bapak Ibu yang lain jelas? Pak Ardian bahasa Inggrisnya bagus sekali. Ya.
No.
Thank you. Yeah, your English is good. Okay.
I would also like to answer a question. There is a question in the chat box which says around reality during the pandemic.
Which one?
Briefly answer that question as well. So, of course, during the pandemic, there were several deaths which could have been avoided, not just by the disease, but also due to starvation, also due to lack of facilities which were available. Wow. So the Indian government is required to act by law, not just during the time of the pandemic, but otherwise as well. And because of the pandemic, the infrastructure was affected to such an extent that these normal processes also couldn't take place in time. So even though the government did make its efforts, the government was slow. And for that, probably once the pandemic is over, the citizens will be able to take the government to court.
Oh, I see. That's nice. Okay, that's right. Jadi pemerintah sana itu dianggap very slow. So after the pandemic, maybe the citizen will be able to take the government to the court because of this kind of slow.
They have the right.
Yeah, they have the right. Ya, jadi tentang hak mereka, hak dari penduduk ini pada setelah pandemi, kemungkinan mereka akan menuntut government karena dianggap terlalu terlalu lamban menangani pandemi ini. Ya, karena ada banyak how many death tolls in total until now?
So the death toll with respect to the disease is very, it's quite high. I don't know the recent figure. I think it is 50,000, but that is due to the disease. Apart from the disease also, there have been about 500 deaths that have taken place for other reasons like road accidents because people had to walk back to their cities.
I see.
Like
okay.
That.
Jadi 50.000 kematian karena COVID-19 yang positif, maksudnya karena penyakit ini, tapi masih ada banyak kematian lain yang tidak disebabkan oleh pandemi, tapi bukan penyakit ya Bapak. Itu karena tadi seperti kelaparan, bunuh diri, karena mereka tidak dapat akses seperti yang migrant workers tadi, jalannya jauh banget, so nggak ada transportasi, mereka nggak ada makanan, akhirnya mati di jalan itu Pak, atau kecelakaan karena penyebabnya adalah pandemi ini. Jadi faktor-faktor yang menyebabkan pandemi itu banyak menyebabkan kematian, tapi kematian dari pandemik sendiri yang disebabkan oleh COVID-19 ini hampir 50.000. Itu kemarin, dan tadi Prof. Malvika menyampaikan kalau yang recent numbers dia belum cek lagi, recent numbers untuk
the death toll 58,000.
Sekarang so now is 58,000
because of the disease, but
yeah,
otherwise deaths have taken place.
Yeah, I get the point. Because of the disease, now the death toll is 58,000. But the factors causing the disease, like suicide, like starvation, being starving at the city, or road accident because of the pandemic or lack of the transportations, there are big numbers also of the death toll.
Yes,
causing
about 300 were recorded till May. So I'm guessing have risen to about 500.
Oke, jadi ada 300 kematian tadi yang seperti di slide ya Bapak, yang disebabkan faktor-faktor penyebab pandemik, bukan karena pandeminya ya, bukan karena COVID-19-nya. Tapi kalau COVID-19-nya sendiri menyebabkan 58.000 kematian di India. Thank you, Prof. Malvika. Bapak Ibu jelas?
These are huge numbers, and the state has definitely failed its citizens in this regard. Even though they have taken measures and they are, they are trying, but this has been slow and it has led to devastation.
Okay, so karena kelambanan pemerintah ini karena pemerintah dianggap lamban ini sehingga menyebabkan banyak kerugian untuk Indian citizen, warga negara India. Is that right? So it caused devastations for the Indian citizens. Is that right? Because of the slow response from the government or slow management from the government. Okay, thank you. Bapak Ibu yang lain ada? Kok jadi ketahanan pangan? Okay. Bapak Ibu ada yang lain? Bapak Ibu ada yang lain? Gak apa-apa, ditanyakan dalam bahasa Indonesia, nanti saya bantu translate. Ini kebanyakan Pak Andian. Kebanyakan Pak Andian dari bagian hukum. Dr. Malvika, Professor Malvika, we have, I think, one more question. How human rights in India are related to Rohingya discrimination, and what forms of protection for victims of such violence are there low? It is very political. This is very political.
Yes, I'm going to try and not give a political answer, however.
Okay, so Prof. Malvika, if it is not comfortable for you, you don't need to answer.
I will answer it through the law.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
First thing that I want to point out is that not all the fundamental rights in India are available to people. Some of them are available only to citizens. So unless you are a citizen of the country, there are certain rights which may not apply to you. However, right to life and right to equality before law, these two important rights are available to all persons and not just to citizens.
Okay, let me conclude first. So I'm afraid because you will explain more, then I will need some words. Okay, so Indian governments only ensure the rights for the fundamentals, right, for the citizen of India, but not all the people. But however, all the people in India have the right, the right to live and the right to
equality before law.
Equality before law. Jadi Bapak Ibu,
this is available to everyone, whether they are a citizen or not.
Or not, okay.
Of India, this is available to them.
Okay, I understand that. Jadi Bapak Ibu, terutama Pak Andian ini yang menanyakan, jadi Indian government itu menjamin fundamental right yang kita sebutkan tadi untuk warga negaranya saja. Kalau bukan warga negaranya ya tidak. Tapi mereka yang berada di India punya pemerintah India memberikan hak untuk hidup dan hak equality before law, persamaan di mata hukum, begitu ya, Bapak Ibu ya. Jadi tidak semua, kalau bukan warga negara India ya enggak gitu lah. Kecuali dua hak tadi yang saya sebutkan, mereka tetap mendapatkan dari pemerintah India. Okay, Dr. Malvika.
But with respect to immigration and with respect to people coming inside the country, so asylum seekers don't have any direct fundamental right. India has the responsibility only because of the international law which may be cast on India. However, the Indian government can make their own, they can make their own adjustments to say to whom it would apply and to whom it would not apply. But there is a very strong political debate and human rights debate on the Rohingya issue. Even in India, there is a lot of criticism with respect to how the government has reacted to the situation. So I would like to say this much, that it is possible for the government to make certain exemptions, even though every person in India needs to be protected by law and their life and liberty needs to be protected. Some reasonable exceptions can be created by the government through law, not arbitrarily, through law. So they can create a law which will probably not impact asylum seekers well, which is what has happened in case of Rohingyas.
So let me conclude in a few words that there will be adjustment, so through law, that can be created by the Indian government for specific cases like political cases. Is that right?
Not political cases, but in general, immigration
and asylum seekers,
citizenship or asylum in the country. The government can make their own laws on these particular points.
Okay, get it. Jadi Bapak Ibu, government di India bisa membuat law sendiri untuk kasus-kasus tertentu ya. Kasus-kasus itu bukan politik, not political, tapi seperti yang Bapak sebutkan, yang tanyakan tadi, melalui hukum. Jadi itu adalah hak pemerintah India. Is that right? So in specific cases like the asylum cases, the government of India is able to create its own law in handling the problems. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a very general answer because I would also like to point out, however, that there has been a lot of criticism of the government policy with respect to Rohingya asylum seekers. So the country is also very divided on the issue.
Okay.
We want to provide assistance, but it depends on the kind of resources that are available as well.
Okay, I understand. Jadi mengenai isu Rohingya ini, pemerintah juga banyak mendapatkan kritik ya Bapak. terutama buat masyarakat Rohingya yang mencari asylum. Asylum itu so what is asylum in bahasa Indonesia? I think asylum this is like apa namanya? Hak. Let me check. Asylum is like can you explain what asylum means?
Asylum is when a person from another country enters into a different country because they fear for their life in their own country. So it's like a protection. It's like a citizenship, which is being not citizenship. You are being granted a stay or you are being granted entry so that you can be protected.
Oh, jadi semacam protection Bapak Ibu, protection dari negara lain karena Bapak Ibu tidak nyaman di negara Bapak sendiri seperti kaum Rohingya ini. Thank you, Professor Malvika. Well, I think the questions because of the limited time, I think the question is that okay for 2 questions only? Oke, Bapak Ibu nggak apa-apa ya 2 karena kita sudah jam 12, sebentar lagi ada field trip sebentar, lalu kita end sessions. Gitu ya Bapak Ibu ya, karena waktunya. Okay, Professor Malvika, I thank you very much for this kind, your what is it? Fruitful, excellent, and insightful presentations that we learn a lot about human rights in India. We appreciate it very much.
For your assistance in translating so that the maximum meaning could reach to the maximum number. I'm very, very grateful that you have helped me throughout the presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Malvika.
Thank you very much.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so now we go to the next sessions. Dr. Rahul, are you there? Dr. Rahul, are you there? Hello. Hello. Dr. Rahul?
Let me just check. He may be facing some internet issues.
Okay. We are waiting.
I will call him on phone.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for your help. Bapak Ibu, jangan lupa kalau Bapak Ibu ingin mendapatkan sertifikat otomatis setelah acara ini, Bapak Ibu harus mengisi link feedback yang kami sediakan. Nah, kalau Bapak ini yang ini ya Bapak Ibu yang play virtual ini dia. Ini Bapak Ibu harus isi ini dulu, link feedback ini dulu. Nanti nama dan gelar harus sesuai nih. Jadi supaya otomatis ketika selesai mengisi feedback, Bapak Ibu nanti akan mendapatkan sertifikat di email Bapak Ibu. Jadi setelah mengisi feedback, Bapak Ibu silakan cek email masing-masing untuk cek apakah sertifikat Bapak Ibu sudah di-issue atau belum oleh kita. Gitu ya, jangan lupa nih Bapak Ibu, kalau materinya ini, Bapak Ibu mengenai materi tadi ada di link materi yang ini. Jadi Bapak Ibu, sekali lagi kalau ingin sertifikat langsung setelah ini, Bapak Ibu harus mengisi feedback yang ini ya. Itu otomatis sertifikat nanti dikirim ke Bapak Ibu. Makanya tulis nama dan gelar dengan benar. Terima kasih. Jadi nanti tidak ada pertanyaan lagi ya Bu, bagaimana cara mendapatkan sertifikat? Caranya ya mengisi feedback. Setelah itu selesai tinggal aja, nanti Bapak Ibu cek email. Dah, pasti dapat sertifikatnya. Thank you. Dr. Rahul, are you there?
Always here, Dr. Yoga.
Yeah, we've been waiting for you for the field trip. Okay. Maybe you will have about 10 or 15 minutes.
It's absolutely fine. That's enough, I think. Now here I would like to introduce my colleague, Miss Bhuvneshwari.
Mbak Rahul udah bicara. Wait, the operator. I asked the operator to have. Okay, so. Okay, Dr. Rahul, you may. Okay, great.
Yeah. So I will request and introduce my colleague, Miss Bhuvneshwari, who knows campus better than me and who's having expertise of our field. So Bhuvneshwari, can you hear me? Could you please open your video? Hello.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, Bhuvneshwari, from here onwards, I am putting the visual project to help all the students to have a virtual tour of our campus.
Yeah. Hi everyone. Good morning. I'm Bhuvneshwari here. I like to share my screen of my campus.
Bapak Ibu, ini field tripnya ya. Jadi Bapak Ibu akan diajak untuk melihat kampus Jindal Global University. So something is wrong. The connection. Hello. Okay. Bapak Ibu, ini cuma makan waktu 10 sampai 15 menit ya. Setelah itu kita selesai dengan virtual international field trip and forum group discussion hari ini. What happens?
Bhuvneshwari, we are waiting actually.
Rahul, it's like I can't share the screen. I'm waiting for 1 second.
In the right hand side where the entrance is mentioned, you just choose that part. Go on the right hand side top, there is an entrance where it is entrance. Click on that, and wherever you want to take them, you can click on that part on.
That only is that I'm sharing my screen. Can you guys view the screen?
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Okay.
Now you can click on the class if, so it will move on to the class side.
Okay, okay, fine. This is the entrance of the JGU.
Pintu masuknya Bapak Ibu.
This is the flagpole area, which will be the entrance of our university. I hope you guys can see the screen.
Yeah, we can see it well. Bapak Ibu, ini mulai field tripnya ya, lihat di layar. Ini masuk ke Jindal Global.
This is one of the smart classroom.
Ini smart classroomnya. So what is it for? Ya, Bapak Ibu bisa lihat di sini ya, kelas di Jindal seperti ini. Makanya sekolah di sana mahal banget, Bu, Bapak Ibu. Okay, can you go to another room?
This is the smart classroom number 2. Each classroom will be in a different, depends upon the courses and the strength of the class.
Okay.
This is our global library.
Ini perpustakaannya Bapak Ibu.
we are having options for the students to sit and access the laptops and other things from here. This will be the entrance of the library.
Ini pintu masuk ke library.
We are having more than 50,000 books collection and 1 lakh above soft copies of the collection in the library. Library or reception.
Ini resepsinya perpustakaan Bapak Ibu, kayak berasa di Hard Rock Cafe gitu ya. Oke.
Everywhere the students can access their laptops and the system. This is the reading room of the library, which is open 24 hours.
Ini reading room Bapak Ibu, tempat membaca di perpustakaan dibuka 24 jam. 24 jam Bapak Ibu ya. Jadi Bapak Ibu jam 1 bisa ke sana baca-baca buku.
This is the dining hall, which will be nearby the entrance.
Ini dining hall.
This is the main dining hall, capacity of around 300 to 400 students.
Jadi kapasitasnya 300 mahasiswa untuk makan di sini Bapak Ibu. Dining hall, main dining hall-nya, tempat makan mahasiswa.
Like this is the 100% residential campus, so we are having 2 to 3 dining halls for the students separately.
Oh, jadi ada sekitar 2 atau 3 dining hall ya, 3 dining hall terpisah karena siswanya banyak. Nah ini termasuk ini juga ya, karena mahasiswanya banyak. Mahasiswanya kalau nggak salah 5.000 sih, saya baca di internet, sama kayak UPS. Cuma karena ini. Oh iya,
the inside view of the dining hall. So we are having a mobile application for the students to access the food coupons and other things.
Masih dining hall.
This will be another dining hall.
Bapak Ibu kalau nanti buat sekolah paling enggak bisa meniru ini ya. Kalau buat private school, Bapak Ibu siapa tahu ingin buat sekolah internasional, don't forget to invite me. Jangan lupa ajak Oci ya. For manage your school ya, to manage your school. Bapak Ibu, cinta alma mater iyalah.
This is the global auditorium, which is the capacity of 250 numbers.
Ini auditoriumnya, Bapak.
This is the Big Bang conference room.
Ini ruang konferensinya seperti ini, Bapak Ibu. Ini kayak di ruang konferensinya anggota dewan.
These red buildings are the faculty housings, where the international faculty will be staying here.
Could you repeat?
One second. These red buildings backside behind the we are having the faculty housing where the deans and the international faculty will be staying.
Okay. Ini di sini tempat tinggalnya dekan dan faculty members di sini, Bapak Ibu. Ini yang red building ini nih. Ada rumah sendiri. Aduh, saya kapan ya? Okay.
We received this is the third time of Switch Bharat for the Green Clean Campus. It's an Indian government award for the university whichever is having a clean campus. This is the moot court for the law students to practice.
Ini tempat praktek ke mahasiswa hukum, Bapak Ibu, namanya moot court.
Like we arranged like a court model itself.
Ya, pengadilannya ya, semacam pengadilan di sana ya. Ya, pengadilan, tempat-tempat praktek pengadilan di sana. Seperti ini kira-kira. Ya, nanti Bapak Ibu bisa buat kira-kira more or less international school like this ya.
These are the executive housing for the international guest. We are having in-house itself the accommodation.
Oh, ini buat tamu-tamu internasional, nginepnya di sini. Kita bisa tanyakan apa kita kalau kalau kita tidak di pandemi lalu mengunjungi bisa nginep di sini nggak gitu. Nanti harus ada deal-dealan dulu ya. Jadi nggak usah jauh-jauh ke hotel. Kiki semacam guest house-nya UPS lah ya.
And this is the student housing for the students. Like we have 2 to 3 type of student housing. This is for sharing student housing.
Ini untuk siswa, untuk mahasiswanya, Bapak Ibu. Semuanya sebaret ya. Very nice. That's very nice room. Ya, students housingnya seperti ini. Jadi kayak dormitory gitu ya, semacam asrama mahasiswanya.
It's like fully air conditioned with all.
Okay, jadi separated by curtain, right?
This is the TV studio, which for journalism school we are having here. Like for law school, we are having moot court. This is the TV studio and radio studio we are having separately for the journalism school. This is the health center for the students. which is located in campus itself. We are having 24/7 doctor facilities and nurse facility, and we are having a ward also for students who, if they want to admit here, they can. We are having a separate female ward and a male ward. This is the gym we are having inside the campus. This is the basketball ground, outdoor sports facilities we are having in campus. This is the tennis court. This is the flagpole area. This is the main building of the university, academic building.
Thank you. Mungkin aku mencet apa sih ya bisa nih ya?
Desktop ya.
I don't know. Iki kok aku besar sih?
We are having the second largest Indian flag, highest Indian flag in our campus.
Paprio, help me please. Bukan, aku mau ini small kayak itu layar.
This is the total
review aja,
top view of the campus.
Di vulkan apa enggak?
Ini.
Iya.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
This is the swimming pool. Now it is already constructed. This is before construction. We had took this photograph. Now we already having the swimming pool in campus itself.
Ya, ini kolam renangnya Bapak Ibu. Dia ada kolam renangnya juga di sana.
Bhuvneshwari, can you show the swimming pool there?
Swimming pool is like not constructed at that time, Rahul.
Okay. This is the old video, right?
This is the old one. This is the old one. This is another side of the flagpole area side of the campus. This will be the main entrance of the campus. Backside are the student housing.
Ini belakangnya mahasiswa, maksudnya apa namanya, asrama mahasiswa.
This is the main academic block. From the flagpole side area, you are viewing this picture. Yeah, thank you. I done from my end.
Okay, thank you.
Continue.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Bhuvneshwari, for your time.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity for me. Yeah.
You just close your sharing, Bhuvneshwari.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So thank you very much for showing us the facilities of your campus. Ladies and gentlemen, do you want to say more, Dr. Rahul?
Thank you very much. But just wanted to invite all the faculty members and the students to visit our campus for short term.
Okay, Bapak Ibu diundang Pak Rahul tuh untuk ke Jindal Global University after the pandemic, of course. Kalau international bordernya already opens ya, kan masih tutup. So we cannot go anywhere. It's very risky. But after the pandemic, yeah, perhaps yes. Karena Dr. Rahul, they are very interested to come to visit your campus. You already see in the chat box that they would like to visit after the pandemic. Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully, but you do not know in the future. Thank you, Dr. Rahul. Bapak Ibu, terima kasih. Ada yang mau menyampaikan sesuatu? Mohon maaf apabila ada kesalahan. Because all the students are here, you know, next to me. They are there. Bapak Ibu, ada yang mau disampaikan? Tidak ada ya? Semoga our service is good. Hopefully our service is good. Hopefully you can get something very valuable, very beneficial for your own your own perspective in terms of international university and especially law faculty of Jindal Global University. Dr. Rahul, thank you very much. Bapak Ibu benar nih nggak ada yang mau disampaikan nih, Bapak Ibu? Halo? Oke, nggak ada ya, sudah pada lapar.
Bu Yoga.
Di Ibu ini.
Ya, Mr. Rahul, kapan-kapan kita undang sebagai visiting lecturer.
Oh, yeah. Dr. Rahul, yeah, you will be invited by Ibu Dr. Hamida as the director, as the visiting lecturer.
Absolutely, it's our pleasure. I mean, I'll send on details to your international office, and we will love to see some of the senior people like Dr. Hamida can be, you know.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course, inshallah.
Terima kasih Ibu sudah mengundang Pak Rahul.
Terima kasih Bapak. Thank you very much.
Okay, ya.
Foto bersama dulu.
Oh, foto bersama. Dr. Rahul, wait.
Foto bersama dulu.
We're going to make a screenshot as a picture.
Ya, tanggapan raya.
Yeah, wait. So everybody please, your face. Semua Bapak Ibu wajahnya kelihatan dong ya, supaya kita bisa lihat di tangkapan layar. Kita mau foto. We're going to take the picture. Ibu Eli belum ya? Bapak Waras.
Ya.
Monggo Bapak Ibu. Minta ini ya supaya kita bisa foto bersama, so we can take the picture together. Terima kasih Bapak Ibu, sudah ada yang ngantuk nih Pak Dani. Pak Dani ngantuk. Sudah siap? Sudah siap? Oke, kita mau tangkap layar Bapak Ibu. Halo, gentlemen. Pak Priyo, you give me hello Pak Priyo, please guide us. Pak Priyo, tell me if you are ready. Satu, one. Pakai begini ya Pak. Ini namanya cinta loh Pak Harpendi Dwi Prati pakai sarang heo kayak orang Korea tuh. That's very nice. Ya kayak gini nih, Korean movie ya, love, it means love. Okay, I do the same like you. Okay, I love you Pak. I love you Pak Harpendi and other people. Okay.
Mas siapa yang moto ya?
Ya Pak Priyo Ibu, nanti kita ditangkap di layar tangkap ada fotonya. So Ibu tinggal gini aja, perform nanti kita ini di foto. Nanti muncul sendiri Ibu, nanti kita kirim. Oke. Okay? One more please, one more. The last chance. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye-bye. Terima kasih Bapak Ibu.
Ibu Nana, terima kasih semuanya.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Mohon maaf bila ada kekurangan.
Profesor Edi Rahul Han, Profesor Edi Rahul Han. Rahul aja. Nehi.
Bapak Ibu, kalau mau ngobrol-ngobrol silakan ya.
Itu India Mania Mbak. Profesor Edi itu India Mania. Itu Profesor Edi di tempat di TKP. Di TKP di
Edi. Halo Profesor
nyari Saka
Edi.
itu. Mau coba.
Dia suka banget sama
Mas
India.
Ari. Pendapatnya Mas Ari tentang gedung yang kebakaran gimana Mas Ari?
Jelas Mas penyebabnya karena api.
Nanti panjang nanti.
Jelas penyebabnya jelas karena
6 lantai loh Mas Ari.
Karena api ya padatnya ya.
Oh, sudah muncul musik India.
Nah, ini musik India nih. Bu Hindun kasih selendang itu.
Prof Edi.
Iya nih, musik India.
Bu Hindun kasih selendang aja itu Bu Hindun.
Bapak Ibu, saya izin live meeting
Sama
ya.
Saka itu impress itu.
Saya izin live meeting Bapak Ibu.
Muter.
Terima kasih Bapak Ibu. I end the meeting. Bye-bye.